What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics show. As always, we are live here on DSM-Media's Philadelphia YouTube and Twitter channel. Guys, do yourself a favor, do us a favor, the same way we start each and every one of our live streams. Make sure to check us out on Twitter at DSM_media. Smash that follow button and then check out the link tree in our bio. It will take you to every social media platform that we are available on. If you guys want to be interactive throughout today's show or any of our live streams, make sure to check out the YouTube link specifically. It's the best and only spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions seen by us and pulled up here on the screen to interact throughout each and every one of our topics. The Phillies stay hot over the weekend, winning their fifth straight series, taking 2 of 3 in Cleveland against the Guardians. Kyle Schwarber hits 2 home runs last night on Sunday Night Baseball. He's tied for the league lead, Scotty, with 14 bombs. He's on pace for like 57 dingers this season. Monster, so extend the man now. Give him a blanket.
I was just about to say that.
Do it, man. Whatever it costs. I don't care about the age. I don't care about the position.
I saw some shit about Rafael Devers or some shit, dude. Like, get out of here.
No.
Just miss me with that.
Ranger Suarez and Zach Wheeler each deal 7 scoreless innings over the weekend while Aaron Nola struggles. It is Cooper effing flag night, Martian. It's the NBA lottery. The Sixers have to stay top 6, to say the least. We got the gear on. We're hoping for a top 6 pick. Obviously, we all know what we're hoping for and where those lottery balls land. But we're just over an hour away from that, so we're going to talk about that. And, of course, the Eagles, your defending Super Bowl champions, will be kicking off the 2025 season on that opening Thursday night game at the Link. And their opponent was leaked around midnight last night, Scotty. Was it going to be the Commanders in an NFC Championship rematch? Was it going to be the Detroit Lions, where Amon-Ra St. Brown says he wants the Eagles week 1? No, it's not. It's Dak Prescott. It's George Pickens. It's CeeDee Lamb. It's Micah Parsons. It is the Dallas Cowboys coming to town to kick off the 2025 NFL season. So a lot to talk about. Happy Monday, my man. What's going on?
Yeah, happy Monday, my man. As Dylan said, we got a lot to talk about. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on. So you're notified every time we go live, man, because there is a lot going on. We're getting into the deep part of the baseball season, right? Summer. We're getting into the deeper part of the baseball season. We're getting into the exciting part for Sixers fans.
I mean,
draft lottery. This is our night, folks. Like we could live and die in this night.
I felt more juice this morning waking up about the Sixers than I did all winter and all
season. Beginning of the season, right? Last fall, we were, get Joel back, Maxey get healthy, we'll be all right. No, but yeah, I'm excited for tonight. It can turn into utter disgust just within a matter of minutes once we find out where the Sixers are going to be placed. I'm praying it is top 6. Maybe we do a live prayer on air today or something, man. Because where I'm at with it, bro, we deserve it. I just don't know if Josh Harris does. I don't know if Daryl Morey does.
But I can't deal with it anymore. Let's just start.
I can't either. Right? I can't either.
Right there, because we put this team on the back burner for so many months on this show because of how disgusting they were to view and watch each and every night. I'm not even sure how much Sixers basketball I, or anybody that tunes in and comments really took in over the last couple weeks and months.
Embarrassing amount.
Season. So I do want to ask, man, how big of a night is this in the direction of this franchise's future? Because it's obviously not a spot. When we look back on this draft class at the beginning of the year, Cooper Flagg headlining it, right?
Yeah.
The two freshmen from Rutgers, which, by the way, however, Rutgers was like a nightmare with 2 top 3 potential picks. Beyond me. We'll come back to that. But anyway, like it's a top heavy draft class. There's a lot of dookies, like you mentioned, as you were watching over the NCAA tournament run. This was not a spot that we ever envisioned being in. So it's weird to sit here and say this is a huge night. This is a huge, potential shift in the direction. But here we are, and Joel gets the work done on the knee. We don't know how that's going to respond. Paul George is locked in for 3 more years. We don't know how he's going to respond. We don't know. We got a report yet the other day that who is it? Kelly Oubre Jr., Eric Gordon, and Andre Drummond are all expected to opt into their contracts, their options for the next season. We can't run it back. This is a huge night to determine kind of the direction of where this team goes, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head, and there's a scale of big night, right? Like as the lottery continues on, and if the Sixers keep dropping down that list, the night gets smaller and smaller. But as long as they get a top 6 pick tonight, if they get and keep their pick tonight, it's gonna be a huge night, man, towards the future. Because I think if you get a top 4 pick, right?
Yeah,
you're going to get a player that is going to be able to impact your team immediately. You're going to be able to throw them on the court. They could potentially start next to Maxey, right?
It's a cornerstone. Yeah.
The thing I'm looking at as you get a little bit lower, maybe like 4, 5, 6, do you start to look at the post Embiid era? And I say that lightly because you can find a big man in this draft that can play next to Embiid, but they can also eventually take his spot once he's down the road and he gives it up, right? Or he moves on. So I think there's a lot of opportunity.
You're hitting at a 7-footer that played at Duke that went to a Final Four. Is that who we're hitting?
him, and I do love that kid from Maryland, man, Derek Queen. He is nasty.
Yeah, I must say,
there's an argument: is he tall enough to be a center? That's a whole different discussion. But I think he would fit like disgustingly perfect next to Embiid.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kama Malawach, a guy just hit 14 threes straight in one of his draft videos or something, man. Yeah. So a lot of talent in this class, dude. So
I agree. So
we need
place. It's a good starting point for the conversation. For the love of God, whatever those ping pong balls have to do tonight, just be inside the top 6.
Yeah.
Do not lose the pick. And for those of you that don't know the odds right now, and me and Scotty, we were talking about it before the show, and I'm sure it has to do with other teams' odds and, maybe the top 2 projected picks and how much their percentages kind of impact the rest of the fields. But the Sixers, to get a top 4 pick, basically have the same percentages for 1 through 4, 10.5%. Yeah. For some reason, the 3rd overall pick is at 10.6%. Take that for whatever it's worth. At number 5, now they had the 5th worst record in the NBA this year. That number 5 spot, they have a 2.2% chance of landing at. I don't know how that makes sense. I don't know what determines that. At 6, which is the border, they have a 19.6% chance of landing at. And at 7, the number we all do not want to see when they're going up from whatever it is, 14 and up, is at 26.7%. 8 is 8.7%. 9 is 0.6%. So very unlikely they're ending up at 8 or 9. Either way, we would lose the pick. 7, we lose the pick right on the nose.
Yeah.
Highest overall odds of getting that pick. And then we move on up from there. So just get inside the top 6, you little white balls, please.
Yes,
find a way. Man.
Please, dude. And I actually disagree, Martian. I think after the 3rd pick, you still have some really nice options there because you don't need a superstar, man. You don't need a superstar. If you get one, then it's very lucky for sure. But I get the point. Like there is a different class past Harper, Bailey, Cooper Flag. It's a different level. I get it.
Basically, it's probably it is those 3 right now. What do you think about the Dylan Harper pick, man? If that was it, let's say Ace Bailey goes 2, and we're at 3. I believe the kid is 6'6".
Yeah, that's what he's listed as. Yeah.
Listed as a guard at Rutgers, but then again, Ace Bailey was listed as a guard at Rutgers, and he's 6'10". So the things change in the NBA; they'll put you wherever. But in terms of just overall fit with a kid like Dylan Harper, you have a Tyrese Maxey, you have your forwards essentially. Well, like you have your 3, you have Joel. Jared McCain obviously will be coming back if that's a guy you want in your starting lineup or continue to come off the bench. What does the 6'6" kid look like compared to one of those forwards / stretch 5s that we're looking at in this class?
Yeah, man. I was texting you earlier, and I was really looking at VJ Edgecombe. I was looking at Trey Johnson from Texas. They're all roughly the same. So at that point, I feel like you have to take the best product, right?
Does Khan fit in there as well, or is that or is he slightly above for you?
Slightly above who?
Of Edgecombe and Johnson.
Khan is in that same. He's in that same window with Edgecombe and Fears is right there as well. But that's another guy. I'm just like that's a little. it's just a little overcrowded in that backcourt. I do think with Dylan Harper, the big thing that could change if you draft him, maybe you don't bring back Quentin Grimes, right? Who had a great second half of the season.
Yeah.
That's the guy that you could move out of that rotation and then insert Dylan Harper. I think he would come in and start immediately. I think McCain would probably come off the bench. He's 6'6". It's just like a better balance with Maxey. Maxey could go back to off ball. Now, Dylan Harper, he didn't have that playmaking, phenomenon at Rutgers, but he also didn't have the greatest talent around him either. Mm-hmm. So I would be all for it, man. He's actually a lot taller and a lot lengthier than what I originally thought he was as well. So there's an argument him over Ace Bailey.
Yeah. I mean, it's if every mock I see, obviously, I wonder who's going number one. But then when you go on beyond there, I've seen them back and forth. I do want to go back to this comment and this first comment by Martian, because it's not that I overall agree. Like, I do agree with you, Sky. Like, I do think it's first step for, first and foremost, keep the pick. Let's get a top six pick, excuse me. And, whether that's a cornerstone inside the top three or whether that's a guy that can step in and be a role player immediately next year, like one of the guys you're mentioning, is huge regardless, right? Because this all goes for naught. The shitty season goes for naught. But I do think there's levels of it when it comes to the future of this franchise and just being a fan tonight, right? Like, we're all looking forward to the next year. We want to get back to the postseason, obviously. But with everything that this team went through this year and the future so up in hand with the health concerns of Joel Embiid, that top three, right, is like one of those dudes could be a potential star. Whereas you get to 5, 6, not saying not a star, but is a Trey Johnson or Con Knippel or VJ a star in the NBA over the next 2 years or so? Whereas like an Ace Bailey / Cooper Flagg, you're feeling really effing good coming away from lottery night with one of those thoughts. So I think it's like levels to like how excited. I know it's hard to get excited about this team at all right now, but how excited you get come 7 p.m.
There are levels. I do agree. And I think when you get into like 4 through 6 range, that's where you're going to see like they could trade the pick ultimately. Yeah. And for me, it depends who is offering the trade. If it is like the San Antonio Spurs, I don't want their future first round pick, dude. Like, they're not going to be a bad team for long with Victor Wembanyama and a top 5 pick in the draft. So, if the Spurs offer it, no. But, I mean, if like the Wizards or the Hornets fall or one of these other teams that just aren't really going to be competing anytime soon, then sure, I would be willing to do it because you know that you could potentially get another chance at a top 10 pick next year. Maybe the class is a little bit better with the Boozer twins and all of those guys coming out. So yeah, there is a world where you look to the next phase, right? The next draft. I do think though, it's an interesting conversation when you look at these prospects, bro, because VJ, Trey, Khan, Fears, these guys that I've talked about is kind of
these guardish forwards, like
they're like they're gonna be like good to decent role players, but they don't have that like star appeal to them. But I think a little bit differently about like Kama and Malawach and Derek Queen from Maryland.
The upside.
That's where that comes in, because those guys, maybe they don't give you the impact next season.
Right.
But by the time Embiid 3 years down the line, maybe they are ready to go. And I do think they have star potential if they can hit their ceiling. So it's weird. You know what I mean? Because, I think these other guys will get drafted before them. One, because teams love guards. Teams love forwards, especially swing forwards. But the big men seem to have the upside for me, if that makes sense. But a
lot of size
pick is a dream, man. Dream come true.
We haven't mentioned that I've seen being slotted inside that 5, 6, 7 area is the kid from the European from Illinois.
Galsky, I can't pronounce his name.
Player can stretch the floor, very good passer. Took over a couple games. I saw last also really struggled. Something like that. Which would be a nightmare for him to play in Philadelphia, because
I'll call him Jack.
I can't imagine what radio callers would sound like trying to talk about the draft pick come June.
He's in there though. He's in that combo.
He's another big that you're talking about where it's something to keep an eye on. But even like when you talk about like length and size, like Cooper is what, 6'10"?
Yeah, it's funny, man. He actually
6'10". Like there's a lot of size at the top of this of the draft as well.
He got and I guess it's barefoot measurement. He's actually 6'7" barefoot. But they say he's 6'9" with sneakers on. But it was interesting seeing like the true heights of different guys. He has a 7-foot wingspan though, so that's what's ultimately important there. And dude, I mean, my God, you just I don't want to dream about it too much because I know that there's a chance that we could get the number 1 pick. It absolutely could happen, but there's a stronger chance that like the Wizards or the Hornets or the Nets, these other teams are going to get it. So I'm trying not to build myself up, man, but you start thinking about that starting lineup, dude. Maxey, Paul George,
I know, because it's where everyone's mind has been since it hit midnight last night. And
I see Pumper's comment, man. That's a worry too.
No, I know. I know. I haven't even really taken my mind there, man, because it's not even like a defense mechanism where I don't want to get myself excited just for them to get the 7th pick and even lose the pick or whatever. Yeah. But it's also I don't even view it in the realm of possibility. I don't know why, but I really don't. I'm going to be honest. I don't think they're getting a top 3 pick. I think
Sixers don't get lucky, man.
I think they're coming away with 4 or 6, or they're losing the pick. I think that's where they're coming at, which again, if they get the 4th overall pick in a year and you compare the 4th overall pick with a Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Paul George, Quentin Grimes, in theory, that should fucking work a little bit, right? But now we get back into come on, man. Come on, really? This team, this injury, this contract. Yeah. We get back into that, and that's not a rabbit hole I want to go down. I just want to enjoy tonight, and maybe we luck out and we get one of those picks. But yes, I'm glad you brought it up because that's where everyone's thinking. That's what everyone's hoping for. I just haven't even let myself get there a little bit.
Yeah, I feel it. I obviously got to watch Cooper Flag everybody did. They were on national television all the time, and it feels too good to be true. It's not going to happen. But man, you want to dream sometimes.
Yeah. No, I feel you, brother. Especially you. I trust me. I know where your head's at, especially being that big ass Duke fan that you are. So,
but even Ace Bailey, I mean Dylan Harper, I mean these guys are talented.
But before we move on, right? Because what are we going to talk about, right? It's not draft night. It's the fucking lottery. Like we were hoping to be playing basketball tonight, not to be hoping for a top 3 pick or whatever. But with that said, just jokingly, I'm kind of joking. What did Rutgers do this year? I don't know. I don't watch Rutgers basketball. I live in the state. I can't even gamble on Rutgers basketball, which pushes me away from watching Rutgers basketball if it ever is on the Big Ten network over here. But my point is, if you have 2 dudes, 2 6'6" and 6'10", both going in the top 3 of the draft, both averaging 19 and 17 this year, how in the blue hell were you guys a 500 to sub 500 basketball program that missed the tournament, that missed every tournament?
Right. They did not get invited to
they missed every, weren't invited anywhere.
I'm looking at the rest of their roster. I'm with you. I didn't watch a ton of their their games last year. I started to watch as the season started to wind down and you start to gear more towards the NBA draft, right? Especially with where the Sixers were headed. But you look at the roster. I mean, after Harper, Bailey, you got Somerville, who's a center. He averages 8 points, 7 points.
You're going to start saying names that I haven't heard of that I don't know.
Then you go over to their shooting percentages and you start to understand even more. So they were playing with a bunch of scrubs, man. And that's what sucks when these top recruits, there's a balance, right? Because there's ones like Ben Simmons. I'm just bringing him up because Martian just talked about him. He went to LSU. That's a little bit different than going to Rutgers. And I get wanting to make your name and make it your own, but college just doesn't work like that sometimes. You have to get really lucky with the right group, and it's really hard to do at some of those smaller schools, man.
So to Craig saying we have almost a 48% chance of losing the pick. I don't know if that's maybe. I don't know. I only have the top 9, but this is according to Michael KB, who covers the Sixers, Brian and Craig. So I said it earlier, but here you go again. The Sixers have a 10.5% chance of each of the first 4 picks, 1 through 4. It's all 10.5% to get. When they get to number 5, which is ironically we were the 5th worst record this year. So I don't know how that drops like that, but we go down to 2.2%. And then for the 6th pick, we're at 19.6%. Now we're at the border. And now here's where we lose the pick. And at 7, we have a 26.7% chance of getting the 7th pick, which we would lose it. 8 at the 8th overall pick, we'd have an 8.7% chance at. And at 9, we have a 0.6% chance at. So, again, I'm not going to try to add up all those totals right now. It doesn't feel like it comes out to 48%. But who knows? I wouldn't be shocked if we had almost a 50-50 chance of losing it. But again, I'll never quite understand that. Like the lottery helps in a sense that it voids, like it basically tries to diminish like substantial tanking. Like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't understand how you have the 5th worst record in basketball and you almost have a 50% chance possibly of losing it top 6 protected. That doesn't make any sense to me. But
and just to throw something out there for the viewers out there as well, man. The other side of the Sixers not getting their pick is OKC getting the pick, and they get to add a role player. They don't need a superstar, so it's perfect for them. They're gonna come up, and they're gonna be a very happy camper tonight. A team that just does not need any more help, man. That's just how ironic it is because it's gonna happen, dude. I'm saying that to make it not happen. I really am, but I do feel you, Brian. Like Adam Silver, the NBA, it's all real fishy. Don't get it twisted.
Look, we have a gambling group chat, and we get very frustrated when things go wrong. Obviously, I'm sure as everybody else does, and then we start to fly off the hook.
The conspiracies.
Man, this shit seems fixed, and then I watched Draymond Green it's 5.5 talking about the spread the other night with like 7 seconds left in a game that was about to be over, and Golden State hits a 3, and it's just like shit's a little weird. So like tonight that all can be put to rest in Sixers land. If the Sixers come out and keep their top 6 pick, the conspiracy theorists can chill out a bit. If they start to come up from 14 on up or wherever the hell they start the lottery, and we get to 9, 8, 7, and that Sixers card flips over. Oh my Lord. But at the same time, man, and again, not trying to go down conspiracy island, right? But we are sending Jared McCain as a representative.
Yeah. And we do have a fairly big market.
We're going to send the 20-year-old team representative and not keep the pick. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine they get to 8 and they flip the 6 card and Jared McCain's just sitting there like,
damn.
Guess I'm going home with nothing. Like, we come home with nothing.
It's true, though. I mean, it could go both ways. That's the thing with conspiracies, of course, because like Brian says, small market. But that, when you start saying that points to Brooklyn.
But the problem is when you say it goes both ways, it's how that is a conspiracy in itself if the small market doesn't get Cooper flagged this year, because I mean, like a Utah or a Charlotte or a Washington. They should come away with them in theory.
Because imagine if you were a Washington Wizards fan. And we're talking about we want like the first pick. And it's a lot of jokingly saying it. There's a chance, though. Like there is an optimist. If you're an optimist out there for the Sixers, I don't know why you would. But if you are, there's a chance. But if you're a Wizards fan, if you're a Hornets fan, like, dude, we deserve the pick. Like, we're in a shitty ass place. So yeah, I don't know, man. We're gonna see how it goes. I forgot that it goes like you said, and it makes sense that it goes 14 is the start of the lottery. 13,
they start to
12.
flip those cards, and then they get down to like the top 3 or whatever, and then they go to commercial break, and then like the dude's like, the 3rd overall pick goes to. It's like a big reveal, and it's like, dude, just tell me where we land. I'll tell you what. Look, I'm going to walk back exactly what I was going to say. What I was about to say was, if we go to commercial break and the Sixers card still hasn't been flipped, I will be ecstatic. However, now I'm going to get crushed, because if we go to commercial break and we're going to be in the top 3, now my mind's going to start going places. I'm not taking it right now, because now I'm going to start thinking, don't like if it's not 3, we have a 50. It's basically 50-50 then if Cooper Flag's become the 6th or not. And I'm not even sure I want to get to that point. I do. Obviously, I really do. But I haven't even pushed my mind there. And
is Cooper Flag the consensus top pick? Is it done?
I mean, brother, if it's not.
I hear conversations. That's all. I read stuff online. A lot of misinformation. I would
stop talking to those individuals.
I feel you. It's interesting though. If maybe somebody values
how awesome. Like, look, Bailey. How awesome would it be if we got the 2nd pick and like Washington or Utah took, like you said, like Ace Bailey went 1, and Bailey. It's like, but then Daryl Morey would take like Dylan Harper, and then Cooper Flag would drop the 3. It would just be hilarious.
I don't think we could afford that, Martian. I don't think, in theory, if they would take it, I guess, sure, I mean, I would do it.
It's Giannis,
I don't think we would be able to afford it, let alone the Bucks doing it. No. So
now, can I give them the number 1 overall pick and Paul George, and the money works out some way or another? I don't know, but
that could be possible.
I don't know, but
doesn't matter yet, at least.
But anyway, man, there's about 40 minutes till we start to find that out, but we're going to move on. Obviously, if anyone else has any more thoughts on the Sixers and the lottery night, drop them in the comments. We can always circle back around. But some news broke around midnight last night, man. It got leaked, and then obviously the NFL and Adam Schefter and all made it very, very official this morning. The Birds opening up the 2025 campaign against the Cowboys. It's officially beat Dallas week. For 18 weeks, it is beat Dallas week. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. But no, man, it brought some much needed juice back to the timeline for Eagles football, man, because it feels like we talked about them for so long. And it's been like, it's like this weird break. I know we talked about the draft a little bit, but just seeing that, like, they're going to open up and you see the NBC logo, you just kind of get fired up, man. But like Martian said, I'm already just ready to say line that shit up. But the Birds get Dallas on the Birds get Dallas on the opening night. They get the Bears at the Link 3 p.m. on Black Friday, obviously. Thanksgiving. And then I think even later in the season, there's a doubleheader on a Saturday. Birds Commanders NFC Championship rematch. And I think that one's in the link as well. So a lot of prime time. I know like 3 p.m. on a Friday isn't a prime time, if you get what I'm saying, but a lot of prime time
slot though
for the Birds.
But I'm excited, man. Obviously that was a great job by the NFL putting Dallas week 1.
I agree.
It's something that we've discussed on here several times. They always put at least one of those Dallas games in like the last 3 games of the season where, I don't know, winning Super Bowls and shit, sometimes those games don't really matter. So I'm happy to have them at the beginning of the season. There's no room for, excuses or anything, right? Both teams should be fairly healthy. They both have new players coming in on their rosters, right? The Cowboys made significant upgrades. Baby. So, I mean, they're going to have some upgraded players, an upgraded roster over there, upgraded coaching staff, right? The Eagles, they lost some players. They had to shift some things around, man, coming off of a big Super Bowl win. So it is very, very exciting, man. And it's only going to get better as the summer goes on and we just start seeing highlights from training camp and so on and so forth. It's just going to get so exciting. But, man, there was something else that I had with the Eagles. Oh, it's just slipped my mind. If I think of it, I'll bring it back. Come back. Because when you said NBC, it threw me off a little bit because I remembered seeing Michael Jordan is going to be working for NBC Peacock on NBA broadcasts and like NBA analyst for NBC and Peacock. So I'm excited about that. And you said NBC, and that made my mind slip there a little bit. But no, man, I'm excited for this. We didn't get to talk about it on the last show, but George Pickens, dude, like how do you feel about that to the Cowboys?
Look, I mean, I think it's very confusing from Pittsburgh's side of things, but at the same time, maybe the answer is just crystal clear in front of us. Because I think it was Ryan Clark, someone else said it, like Mike Tomlin has said time and time again, he will never shy away from coaching up a player. He will never shy away from it, no matter who that player is, the personality, the talent level, nothing. If Mike Tomlin says we have to kick this can down, if we have to move on, maybe that answer is just crystal clear. Now, the player himself, the talent, George Pickens is a very, very good wide receiver. And I think that's why I was kind of excited, not excited, but as a football fan, when DK got moved there, and it's DK and George Pickens, that's something the Steelers have really, really lacked. Like, George Pickens is really good. George Pickens by himself with, like, you and me playing in the slot ain't really moving the needle too much, right? No matter who's playing quarterback. But now he goes to Dallas, and we know they want to sling the rock, right? And Dak comes back healthy. And now not only is he playing with the number one, but he's playing with CeeDee Lamb, who's arguably top 4 or 5 in the league, right? Like, this isn't DK Metcalf. This is CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. So from a football perspective, I like it. I like it a lot. It doesn't solve like their issues overall. It's not going to just make them a winning football team. And again, if Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers organization feels like they have to move on from what? A 23, 24-year-old stud receiver and playmaker, might tell you a little bit about everything that we've seen on the field and the extracurriculars on the field and the flags and et cetera and the bitching and moaning. It's just very on brand for that franchise. So I'm very excited to see like I saw a video of like George Pickens the first time he goes back-to-back weeks without a target, and it's like dragging Dak Prescott by his fucking face mask and punching at his head. So
no, I agree with everything you said there. He seems like a heck of a talent, especially playing with some lackluster quarterback play at times in Pittsburgh, right? Confusing quarterback play, I guess you could say.
And no real threat outside of him to take pressure off.
None around him. No run game even really either, right? Najee Harris wasn't really a factor there. I do think this about Pittsburgh, man. I think they over time, and you can call Antonio Brown an exception because he did get a ring, but he also went and played with the GOAT and ended up still becoming a volatile nuisance. So Pittsburgh seems to let guys go at the right times, if that makes sense. Le'Veon Bell fell off.
Held out.
Chase Claypool, he scored 3 touchdowns on us as a rookie. They let him go. We haven't seen him in quite a while. The list goes on. There's been a ton of guys over time. The attitudes look iffy. Pittsburgh, you're like, whoa, why did Pittsburgh do that? Yeah. And then you start to see these things happen. And, of course, Dallas would be the one that goes and gets it because they are the ones that like a sideshow and they feel they can deal with it. I think he looks like a hell of a talent. I am just interested he is a head case. Like at the end of the day,
I know.
And I don't get me wrong. I'll put this in front of what I just said. If he got traded to the Eagles, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be talking him up.
Yeah,
I would be talking him up as a supreme talent. Maybe we can really get the most out of him. Yeah. But we have guys in house.
Mm-hmm. The culture
that can groom, that can show him some culture. Now, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, that's a hell of a room. And I know A.J. Brown looks volatile at times, but I think that's just
not like that. Like the A.J.
He's
Brown
not fighting.
Right. The A.J. Brown stuff comes from like a little like the book on the sideline, some questionable comments next to his locker or whatever, where like, are we reading between the lines? Is there, Jalen wasn't at his engagement party, or oh my God, or is AJ and Jalen, arguing again? Are they not close anymore, etc.?
I love that.
The George Pickens, though, I would text you constantly throughout the season, man. And whenever they play on primetime, whenever we have money on a game, and it's like George Pickens makes a ridiculous over-the-shoulder catch on the sideline, for whatever reason, gets an offensive face mask penalty, which is so rare, by the way, nowadays.
Yeah.
He's just, for whatever reason, just
multiple times
bringing this dude by his face. And then he picks up the penalty. He gets it unsportsmanlike at some point. It was just always something in a big moment when it comes to him, and just way different.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that reputation follows him and gets glorified in Dallas? It's a bigger stage. The lights... Steelers is I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it is.
I know what you mean.
It's Dallas. It's Jerry World. They're going to be on national television. It's Dak Prescott. He loves to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bigger stage.
I'll say this. Does it make Dallas a better team at all? Does it solve the Cowboys' problems? Does it make them a winning team this year? Does it put them in this playoff push? No, it doesn't. What it does for the Cowboys is gives them more clicks than wins. That's what it's going to do.
Good way to put it.
When they're at practice, and the first viral training camp fight breaks out between Trevon Diggs and George Pickens, and he's ripping Diggs' helmet off, Jerry's going to love it because it's clicks, and he's going to have fans taking tours, walking through the team cafeteria, and it's going to get very uncomfortable, but that's what it's going to do, and he's going to make money, and then
that's what they
jerseys and so on and so forth. It's not going to help them win many more football games. It'll help Dak Prescott with his numbers. It'll help George Pickens with his numbers. Their offensive line, their running game with Miles Sanders now possibly.
Devontae Williams.
Yeah, they're always just like a step behind. So they really are, dude. But
I do. The best way I would put it, like, they had a pretty good draft, right?
Yeah.
They graded out really well. They got some nice pieces there. That's probably more important than a wide receiver too. And that's not to take anything from George Pickens. It's just, the NFL is one in the trenches, man, at the end of the day.
I agree. And then I saw something like, what did they give up for him? Like a third and something out, whatever it was. And it's not bad for a star for a talent level as such as George Pickens, but it was just funny because then like someone was like, they just traded like a third or a fourth for Jonathan Mingo like 2 months ago. And it's like, see, like if you would have just wait, like if all you did this offseason was draft well and trade a third for George Pickens, you had a very good offseason. But you throw in like the clownish stuff. You throw in the third or fourth for a Jonathan Mingo. They traded like a fourth or a third for another like low level talent. And it's just like, man, this is just such a Jerry thing.
I saw somebody compare it to Jahan Dotson trade.
Yeah, I know. They were making fun. And it's like, dog, like all I have to do is point to this ring finger. Speaking of point to this ring finger, like I know we're gonna move on in a second.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's been so many different conversations I've seen. It's not that I'm even like addressing it in such that like they don't need more attention like than just our little podcast, but like I have seen like 4 different talk shows over the last 2 weeks start to get back in the football conversation. And I have seen a clip like 3 days in a row of where does Jalen Hurts rank in terms of quarterbacks? Is Jalen Hurts a top 5 quarterback? It's Fox Sports, it's Acho, and it's James Jones, and it's Shady, it's ESPN, and it's like, what the fuck are we like? The delusion of people. Like, did that box not just get ticked 3 months ago?
Yeah, like does that not raise him above the Justin Herberts?
Yeah. First of all, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, right? And I'm sure we'll have plenty of conversations about Jalen over the summer as well, because we had a lot of time and spots to fill. Okay. But fuck out of here with the Justin Herberts and the CJ Strouds and the Jordan Loves. And I think Matthew Stafford is still very good and even underrated in some people's eyes. That in the conversation. Yeah. Right. Then people are like, well, I think he's better than Joe Burrow, right? Joe's got the numbers. Well, yeah. Congratulations, Joe Burrow. Dude, let me tell you something. I will still put Patty number 1. I'm not going to go that far disillusioned to put him as the best quarterback because he won the Super Bowl, beat Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the world. Lamar Jackson is not better than Jalen fucking Hurts. Stamp it, debate me, debate with the wall. Lamar Jackson, I'll tell you that Josh Allen isn't better than Jalen Hurts, but Lamar Jackson keeps getting put in this 2 or 3rd slot, and he wins Nothing. He comes up short time and time again. I can show you clip after clip after clip of a ridiculous, ugly overthrow in a big moment in a playoff game in the AFC Championship in the divisional round to cost them a game. Oh, Jalen Hurts had Saquon Barkley this year. He had Derek fucking Henry behind him putting up MVP numbers. Came up short. Josh Allen can't beat Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson can't beat Patrick Mahomes. Guess what Jalen Hurts has done? I know he didn't beat him the first time around, but on 2 times in the biggest stages, what did Jalen Hurts do against Patrick Mahomes?
Outperformed.
Outshined him. Outplayed him. Guess what happened in the regular season after we lost in the Super Bowl to Patrick Mahomes? We went to Arrowhead. Beat them in Kansas City. He's the one dude that continues to beat the measuring stick and not just win football games, but outperform the measuring stick. All the dude does is win, and everybody wants to sit here after the Super Bowl and talk about this dream team, right? All these all pros, all these Pro Bowlers. Scotty, the Eagles are a super team until it gets time to start ranking individual players.
Yeah,
because I'm seeing wide receiver lists come out, and Smitty's not even in the top 15. AJ Brown's not in the top 5. Their defense is the Eagles are a super team until it's time to rank their players, and then no one all of a sudden is a star in people's eyes unless they help Jalen Hurts win.
Let me ask you this, because I know we need to move to the Phillies, but
I just.
Do you think the Eagles, what I could see the Eagles coming out and doing, it's very early, like we don't need to get too deep into this, but what I could see is them coming out and letting Jalen do his thing to start the season. It's warm out, right? You don't really have to get into that grinded out type of style just yet until it gets a little bit cooler out. And I think you take a little bit of the pressure and the angst off of Saquon's legs as well, man. He just ran for 2K. And took us to a Super Bowl. So I think you could take a little bit of that wear and tear off Saquon next year. But it's going to be funny once we hit the cold weather and they were like, I don't know if the Eagles can run the football. And then we just turn into the best rushing attack again. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if we come out with the best rushing attack from the jump. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we see Jalen air it out a little bit more.
Take a step.
Get AJ Smitty a little bit more involved, right? But no, I'm not saying that Saquon's going to have this down year. I don't know if we're going to run him up to 2K again.
Last year are going to wear off. Like he's not going to rush. Well, he's probably not going to rush for 2K and do what he did. But my point is, like, you were like basically what you had just said on the reverse end of it. But it was like, I don't know. Last year I don't know if they could throw the football in the biggest moments.
Right.
And then Saquon Barkley got stuffed in the Super Bowl and they dropped over 40 points.
And Jalen led the team in passing and rushing yards.
I just my point of this conversation was, did we not just take this test 3 months ago?
Right. And it's already. This is the last one. This is the last one I'll bring up, man. I promise. Jalen Hurts winning a Super Bowl ring ruined football NFL discussion. I saw that one too. Yeah. Oh my God. The trolling has just gone ungodly, man. Yeah. Honestly,
but he's just a merchant of the tush push and the help around him and the wide receiver duo. Like, look, even NFL Network just did one. They ranked the top 5 wide receiver duos. And look, I'm not saying like they discredited the Eagles in any sense. Everyone had the Eagles in their 5. But outside of one person on a panel of 5, everyone had the Eagles at 4 or 5. And again,
that's insanity.
But honestly, it's not. I'm not even talking about just disrespect towards Smitty and AJ. I'm saying all we heard after the Super Bowl was that he has a super team.
Right.
But then when it gets time to rank these guys, X, Y, and Z are better than Smitty and
like
AJ.
Burrow doesn't have a super team.
Right, dog. Like I get the defense part. I get it, right? I get the defense, and they gave up so many points in a bunch of games where they put up ridiculous numbers that
nobody thought our defense was going to do that. No. And they still don't give our young guys credit. They're going to fall off this year. So it doesn't matter. We just had to go out and do it again. It's fun to. It's going to be fun, man. I'm excited. To.
I'll have a lot of conversations.
Build it up again because we won the Super Bowl, and I was like, man, is that like the mountaintop? Like, is that going down the?
You know what, man? I'm
like ready to go again.
I agree, for a whole other season. I came away as a fan and like doing this from that Super Bowl, like obviously on a high, and like you can't tell me shit, and you still can't tell me shit. Like we're top dog right now, right? But like this whole summer and this next year is just like a big stick it to everybody else when this team goes out and dominates again. Am I saying right now that they're going back and repeating? No, we know how hard it is. I'll tell you right now, they're the best football team in the National Football League. Period. On any given Sunday, could they lose? Could they lose in the NFC Championship to the Lions? Could they lose in the Super Bowl to Mahomes again? Like, yeah, they could. But I'll tell you right now, as long as they're healthy, they're the best football team this year.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Yeah. And it's crazy that I could come away, I won't say more excited about the defense than last year, but maybe just as excited, dude. Like I'm not trying to like overhype it. I do like especially the first 2 draft picks.
Yeah. You know what? I forgot about, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I've forgotten, and I'm not like this guy's gonna be like just a wheel, like a cog in the machine. He's gonna be a role player again on this defensive front. But like I even forgot that we signed Azeez Ojulari. Like Azeez Ojulari could come here and have 6-7 sacks this year.
Josh Uche.
Right? Yeah, like he's played in winning organizations. Like, wasn't he on the Chiefs when they beat us in 22? Uche? Was he on the Chiefs when they beat us in 22? I think so, right?
I'm not sure.
He played for the Pats and the Chiefs. I forget what years he played for them, but he won a Super Bowl.
He had the big season with the Pats, so like 12 or 13.
Right. So it's like, all right, we lost two big pieces on the defensive front, but again, they were role pieces in this defensive front. You added to it. You re-signed Bond. You drafted Jahad Campbell, right? I'm very, very excited. Yeah, exactly, D-Rap, exactly. But all right, we got the Phillies starting in 5 minutes, so we're not going to take up too much of your time. There's over 55 people in here right now. So do us a favor, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please help us out. We're still at 180.
Yes, sir.
We had a couple subs, and the next thing you know, they disappear. So just subscribe, stick with it. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and even more content will be coming out, recorded videos and stuff as the summer gets here, man. But the Phillies are staying hot right now, Scotty. Obviously, Friday we talked about them. They lost the game. It's natural to lose a baseball game in 162. They lose. But then they win. They win Saturday. They win Sunday. Ranger Suarez on Saturday gives you 7 scoreless innings. I believe only 2 hits allowed in that. That Guardians win. 3 hits allowed. Excuse me. Thank you. And then Zach Wheeler on Sunday Night Baseball comes out last night and absolutely deals 7 scoreless. The bullpen pitching very, very well over the last 2 games and over the last stretch as well. The bats stay hot. Bryce Harper obviously doubles and hits a 2-run piss missile on Saturday. Kyle Schwarber homers twice and pushes all 3 runs across the board last night in a 3-0 shutout. He tied the league lead with 14 home runs. He's on pace for like 57 bombs this year, dude. Now, is he going to hit 57 up? Nah, he's probably not hitting 57 home runs. Is Kyle Schwarber hitting 45 plus? Yeah, I bet your sweet ass Kyle Schwarber's hitting 45 plus home runs this year, which brings me to just say, extend the man, please. But they won 11 of their last 14 games. They've won 5 straight series. Obviously, they got the big sweep that everyone kept waiting for against the Tampa Bay Rays at the end of last week, man. This team is fucking rolling. And when things are going well like this, we talked about it on Friday, it feels like they are just going to go in and win every game. Yeah. They got Christopher Sanchez on the bump tonight at home against St. Louis. The back end of the lineup, I know that Weston Wilson's in there. It's what Sosa, Weston, Rojas. I think JT's hitting 5. It's not the prettiest of Phillies lineups you've seen in over the last stretch, but still, nonetheless, they should go and get a W tonight against the Cardinals. But this team is exciting nonetheless as we come into the mid-May right now, man.
Yeah, I think you come out of that weekend, like you said, you take the loss on Friday. You come out of that weekend with, for my money, one concern, one negative thing. That's it. The rest was all good. You get the 2 wins Saturday and Sunday. Yep. You even have another 7-run outing on Saturday where you get to light them up. You saw multiple guys across the lineup have multi-hit games this weekend. Marsh, Bohm, guys that we've been worried about. And the worry doesn't go away, but it makes you feel a little bit better when you see guys build some confidence. You're still a game and a half down from the Mets. The Mets are playing really good baseball. You got swept by them, right? Earlier this season, that happened. It is what it is. They're looking like one of the best teams in baseball. So that's going to be a battle each and every time that these teams match up. And it's going to be a team that we're going to be looking at all season as we compete and go through the ranks here, man.
Let me throw this at you, man. Like, I know it was a slap in the mouth when they got swept at Citi Field, but it almost like
Citi Field too.
I don't want to say
it's not okay to get swept
better because we wanted the revenge, right? We wanted to see fight. Like, that team looked like they were asleep in New York in that series, and it was so effing frustrating to watch the overall what looked like lack of heart almost after they punked you with when you had home field advantage last year, and they added Juan Soto, and I get it, but I love how this team has responded since then. We're going to go through waves this year where they look asleep, where the bats are slumping, where the bullpen's not good, and then they're going to go hot like they are right now. It's going to happen over the course of the summer and the baseball season.
Yeah.
But the fact that this team took a licking from the media, from the fan base, every single day over those 3 or 4 days that they got swept by New York, and they were not playing good baseball. I'm not sticking up for that stretch whatsoever. But the way that they have responded, the way that Bryce Harper hopefully seems to be having a little bit more fun and taking a little bit pressure off of himself, the way that Trey Turner continues to drive across multi-hit games, Alec Boehm, Brandon Marsh, and Johan Rojas. I just saw a stat 2 nights ago. They, as center fielders combined, are hitting like 357 over this stretch. Yeah. And it's like the second best center field, like across baseball over this recent stretch. Now, is that going to stick? Is that going to stay for consistently? I would hope so. I'm not too confident in it, but it's good to see, like you mentioned. So the way that this team responded after getting their asses kicked in New York is big going forward, because let's say you get slapped in the mouth, in a game 1 against the Mets, or you get slapped in the mouth in a series late in September. How's this team going to, respond? The playoffs are right around the corner. Yeah. They seem like they can respond, man.
No, and I know you said it earlier, man, but that Ranger game, 7 strong innings on Saturday, that's just huge going forward as well, just to add to what
after he got punked 6 days prior.
Yeah, and that we talked about it on Friday. That was one maybe a concern, right, going into the weekend. But he erases that with one outing, for my money. We'll see how he goes. He's got to be consistent. But no, I get what you're saying, because at the end of the day, what I was getting at, the Mets are playing some really good baseball. They're not the team that you build your confidence against. Like, you can, don't get me wrong, you get wins against good teams, you build your confidence. But if you're in a slump, you don't need to go against the Dodgers and the Mets to get out of that slump. I think they've been able to take advantage, and now we've moved into some really good competition in these last couple of series where we're really starting to see them get tested, and they're starting to meet those tests. And now they're in a good groove, man. So I would love to see the Phillies go and play the Mets right now. Let's see what that looks like right now.
Yep.
And then we can make our judgment. But Philly's playing some good ball, man. Let's go get this W tonight, my brother.
Yes, sir. Now we jumped up to 80 people, man. It makes me not want to get out of here.
But I know.
Have to. The lottery is starting in just about 10 minutes. The Phils just kicked the game off against St. Louis. Sanchez on the mound. Let's go win a ball game. Let's go keep this top 6 pick and hopefully find a way to land inside the top 3. Guys, for myself, for Scotty, for DSM, make sure to do us a favor, do yourself a favor. If you do want to be interactive throughout any of our shows, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's YouTube. It's free. Go subscribe. Yes, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And like I said, more recorded content will be coming out and being uploaded to the page as well. So subscribe, follow, share it, friends, family, other Philly sports fans that you may know of. For myself, for Scotty, for my man D-Rab in the comments. Have a great rest of your night. Go Phils. And bring me Cooper Flag. Peace out.
Let's go get Coop.